Chapter 4, Mishnah 10. We learned above in Chapter 4, Mishnah 4, that it was customary to have someone translate the public Torah reading into Aramaic so that the people would understand it. Our Mishnah teaches that certain passages should not be translated because their content is inappropriate for the general public. For the same reason, certain passages from the prophets should not be read as the Haftorah. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. The story of Reuben. Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, Genesis chapter 35, verse 22, is read but not translated so as not to shame Reuben. The story of Tamar, in which Tamar was violated by Amnon, Samuel 2, chapter 13, verses 2 through 22, may be read as a Haftorah and even translated. However, the verses that refer to Amnon as the son of David may not be read, as will be taught below. The first telling of the story of the golden calf, Exodus chapter 32, verses 1 through 20, is read and translated. But the second telling of the story, verses 21 through 25 and 35 there, is read and not translated. Since the second telling describes Aaron as being responsible for the golden calf, we do not translate it out of respect for him. Similarly, the priestly blessing, Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27, is read and not translated because it contains the word, "May God show you his countenance," which might be understood by some people as meaning that God favors the Jewish people even though they do not deserve it. The verse in the story of David and Amnon that refer to Amnon as a son of David, Samuel 2 chapter 13 verse 1 and 13 verse 4, are not read or translated. Although this story, referred to earlier as the story of Tamar, may be read and translated, as the Mishnah taught above, these particular verses must be omitted out of respect for David. We may not read the account of the chariot, Ezekiel chapter 1, as a Haftorah, because upon hearing its mystical description of heaven, people might ask questions about it and seek to examine its secrets, which is inappropriate for all but the greatest scholars. But Rabbi Yehuda permits reading it as a Haftorah, because people who cannot understand it will not try to delve into its meaning. Rabbi Eliezer says, we may not read Ezekiel chapter 16, which begins, "Make known to Jerusalem all of her abominations," as a Haftorah, because it speaks of the degradation of Jerusalem.